So now that assembly is finished, let's create its drawing. And to do that, I'll simply go to this new option and I'll select make drawing from part. Now select the drawing template, which is the default one. Click OK, and here we are. We've got the sheet option. Now select the sheet which you want to use for this one. So in this case, I'll just make sure only show standard formats. This option is unchecked. And now I'll select NCB landscape. Now click OK, and here we have it. Now here I'll start with cover sheet. Now this happens to be, well, the first sheet, and I'm going to call it cover sheet. So I'll go to the sheet one option, right click, and I'll select rename, and let's call it cover sheet. Now here I will add the exploded view of assembly. To do that, just go to this view manager and select isometric exploded. So I'll just select it, drag it and drop it right about here. Done. Now I'll also change its visual style. Now to change the visual style, you can once again go back to this view and make the modification. For example, I'll select the view. Once again, drawing view 1 is, well, selected, and all its properties will show up. From here, select shaded with edges. Click OK and done. Now let's add bill of material. To do that, go to table, select bill of material, and now select the properties. In this case, the only thing that I want to change is the bill of material type. So go to bill of material type and I'll select parts only. There are other options which is not very relevant. It is relevant in situations where you have sub-assemblies. So if you have sub-assemblies, maybe you want to use top level only or just parts only. If you don't have sub-assembly and everything is just separate parts. So here I'll select that. Indented is also quite useful when you have sub-assemblies and you want to show parts as part of an assembly. So I'll select that parts only, click OK, and now I'll add it here on the top right corner. So we've got this added. Now to associate objects or parts in this bill of material with this exploded view, we need to add ballooning. So go to auto balloon and select the view. Here we are, we've got all of these balloons added with magnetic lines. Now here we don't have anything to modify. Everything looks quite perfect with all the default settings. So I'm not going to change anything. And with that, I'll simply click OK. If, however, for whatever reason you want to make changes in this, then you can select the balloon. And once again, you can go back to the option and make the changes. Now, the only thing that I may want to change is the gap. So right now these two are quite closely spaced, though it is perfect, but you can still select it, click this arrow and move it. And that's going to make it, well, quite apart like this. And maybe you will move it up as well. Here also, let's just add some distance between these two and these two balloons. There we are, we've got this added. Now let's add one more sheet. So I'll go to new sheet and let's give it a name. So in this one, I'll add orthographic view of entire assembly. So I'm going to call it orthographic views with a default scale and NCB landscape template. I'll start a new sheet. Now here, once again, go to this view palette and just select the first view. So here I'll select this top view as our, well, first view, and I'm going to add it right about here. Now it's projected view here and another projected view right about here. And then an isometric view, of course, right here. Done. Just click OK. And maybe you will select this isometric view and I'll move it somewhere here. Okay, that makes more sense. Now we can also change its visual style. So select the view and change it to shaded with edges and OK. Now here, if you want to add dimensions, you can do that. And you actually don't need to add dimensions directly on the assembly level. You can do it on the part level as well. But here I'll just add overall dimensions for the assembly. So I'll go to annotation and I'll add very few dimensions. So I'll go to smart dimension now and I'll add this overall length from this to this. That happens to be 282. Now the overall width as well, or the height here. So that's 32. And here it is. Well, maybe let's just zoom in a bit. From here to here, that happens to be 36. Now we can also add height for this one, and I'll maybe add it right about here, and then I'll move this dimension outside. So I'll just press escape and I'll move it out just to create room for this. All right, so there we are, we've got this added. Now you can also add a few dimensions here. So not many, but just a few dimensions here. I'm going to add it. So here, that's the first one, second, and maybe this one here, and this dia. Also, I'm going to add the angle between this and this, which is 4 degrees. All right, now if you want to add more dimensions, you can definitely do it using all the available views. But with this, you now got an idea of how to add views and the dimensions. Now that we have cover sheet and orthographic, we can also add more detail using separate views of components that we'll add next.